Awesome. Welcome back, everyone. As you know, my name's Nathan. I'm here today with Hayden,
Yep, Hayden.
and we're just going to make some content, have a chat, keep it casual, and talk about his experiences out here in Thailand, what he's doing for a bit of cash, and what his mission is to sort of give back. So,
Yeah.
how long have you been out here in Thailand?
I've been out here for about 2 weeks.
Yeah, so
Still fresh.
short time, so a similar sort of time to me.
Yeah.
Getting used to the difference in culture, how busy it is here. What have you noticed so far since you've been around Bangkok? And
I've noticed a lot of things. I mean, yeah, I come from a smaller city, so it's like coming here, it's very overwhelming. You know, it's definitely something to get used to. I remember when I first got here, the first few days, I was like, do I go outside? Like, where do I go? Like,
yeah,
I was still kind of in that like shock, and it took me a minute to get comfortable to it, but
yeah, it's a big culture shock, especially for myself. I'm from a smaller town, and yeah, this place never sleeps.
yeah,
All day, all night,
yeah,
stuff's going on no matter what. So
exactly.
yeah, I mean, for me personally, I like to sort of be active in the day and sleep at night, keep a good routine. But there is that temptation pulling you towards sort of like, oh, a few friends are meeting up at 8 or 9 p.m. and it's like, oh, do I go
Yeah,
and see them or explore? There's opportunities to sort of network and be around like-minded people all the time.
yeah, that's a skill I need to learn. Saying no,
Yeah.
knowing how to say no.
Yeah, it's guarding your time. You know, being being around people is not a bad thing, but also spending all your time just sort of wasting it away.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Agreed.
it's good to sort of learn to say no. So going into your professional career, then you started off on door-to-door sales for solar. So obviously that's going to teach you loads of things like personal confidence, putting yourself out there, and like most importantly, just taking rejections.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So what sort of other things did you find, or what has that sort of period in your life turned you into now? What have you
Yeah.
learned?
It's a good question. So, there's a lot of things obviously you can learn from that. Just like a few things is like being able to read people. And I will say, reading people is a lot harder here. Like, some of the locals I interact with, sometimes it's really hard to understand like how they're feeling or if they're uncomfortable or whatever it is.
Different mannerisms.
Exactly. You know, sometimes it's like humor they don't pick up on, or like sarcasm, and then you get slapped, and it's like, oh shit, But
Sounds like you're talking from experience.
maybe another podcast.
Maybe.
Maybe another podcast.
Maybe.
But yeah, no, you learn a lot about body language and reading people, and how to just kind of be comfortable with yourself. Doesn't always happen all the time. Sometimes you still get anxious or whatever, but
Yeah.
yeah, just holding eye contact, confidence with yourself, learning how to spark conversation and be intriguing and learn about people and get them talking, and
Yeah. Picking up on cues and things like that.
yeah,
It's interesting. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. So pushing on then. So you started off on door-to-door sales, and now you are in the online space. Do you want to tell the people watching and sort of educate me a little bit more about what you do
Yeah.
online?
yeah. So fortunately, I've been able to come to Thailand and still be able to work. So simply, all I do is I mostly do front end work, building websites for small businesses. So I'm from Portland, Oregon. So that's out in the United States. Basically, I just cold call small businesses in Portland, Oregon that potentially don't have websites, or their website's lacking, whatever that might be. And I just pitch them. And it's actually a lot easier than you think it is to go business to business with these business owners, because they don't hang up on you on the phone. They'll listen to you, and you'll get an answer most of the time. But yeah, I basically just cold call back to the States. Hey, do you need a website? Let's do this. And week's time, get them a website, I get paid. It's typically 100% net profit because it's, it's all digital. It's, it's the same thing with like coaching. You're not typically having to spend that money in other ways, but yeah, mostly it's all like template work. It's front end, so I'm not like doing a bunch of coding. Everyone asks me that. I'm like, no, I'm not into coding. I try to make it quick and easy, not super custom. Just getting something out there that the business owner is going to like, they're going to appreciate, make it easy for them. But
yeah, because most of the people I assume that you're approaching haven't got any sort of online presence,
right?
And just some presence is going to sort of even just double or triple the amount of leads that they get.
Yeah,
just from a small simple website.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of depends like what the business owner is looking for. Like recently, I've had some CPAs, some tax guys. They already have a huge client base, and they're not looking for more work. They're more so looking for a funnel that helps them filter out customers that they don't want. So it's kind of funny because I've been building them like a nice face for their business, but also a way to filter out customers they don't want.
Yeah.
But most of the businesses are looking for more leads and more business. So there's multiple sides to it. Everyone wants something different.
Yeah, and especially being in the online space and sort of being around guys sort of in the similar space that we are, is that you pick up on so many things you can just offer, and just to increase the value of your product that may not be difficult for you to learn, but for those people it's completely different, and it adds another dimension to it, like the funnel. And sort of once prospects are coming in thick and fast, you want to sort of pick the best ones, right? So you pick that all up, and sales as will have massively helped sort of your understanding of how to sort of pitch these stuff. So yeah, that's great. And it also helps as well if you're cold calling back home. If you're a local, you've got the accent. They know straight away that
got the phone number.
Yeah, it's it's a bit more accepting. So you've got that going for you.
The biggest question or objection that I hear is, I don't want to work with somebody that's not local. Yeah, it's like, oh well, I'm in Thailand right now, but but like. Yeah, exactly.
You know the area. You've been around the block. You've literally been door to door, and you know how people talk, and you know the local lingo. So that's the main thing, is just being able to build up a connection with people. And I find that's an important thing with sort of building an online brand, is what I'm doing at the minute, and sort of creating content. Is you're basically building up a rapport with people. That's you're setting the groundworks with your clients and your customers and people in your network, the same way that you are doing with, like, you've already got the connection there with a potential customer because you're from that area.
Yeah.
So I did a little bit of research on Portland, and one thing that came up that sort of struck me was this guy called the Unipiper.
The Unipiper.
Have you heard of this guy?
So there's a reason I'm not in Portland, and it's because I try to stay ignorant to it. No, I don't know. Maybe you'll jog my memory, but...
So he's this guy that basically has a unicycle, and he rides around Portland playing a bagpipe, and he sprays fire out of his bagpipe, and there's just this craziness.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, you'll have to check it out. It's pretty crazy. He wears all different costumes, sort of Santa Claus, fucking Darth Vader, riding around Portland, playing a bagpipe on a unicycle.
It sounds like you want to go to Portland now.
I might have to. I might have to go and find this guy. So, if you've got any connections to the Unipiper,
no, no.
We'll have to maybe pass that one off. But yeah. So you've been through the trenches. You've been through ground zero. You know where your feet stand on the ground, and you're pushing yourself to be online. Where do you sort of see yourself, your business, like here now, and then in a couple of years' time? What's your sort of, where can you see it all unfolding? Yeah,
that's a really good question. So I've been doing this for almost half a year now. I'd say like 5 or 6 months now. And it's gotten to the point where it's like I am starting to get a lot more traction, and I'm starting to get referrals and stuff like that. So it's like, it's allowed me to ease off a little bit on the gas pedal, but I need to get back into it. But yeah, at the moment, it's not like a super huge thing. I've I probably have 20 clients about that. And it's not all of it is like recurring, unfortunately, not yet. But I would really like to get it to a place where most of it is residual. It's just coming in monthly. And a lot of that is going to involve me sort of switching the business direction into more of like selling leads, and instead of just website creation. But website creation is such a good way to get your foot in the door. But my mentor, he is doing rank and rent. And for anyone that doesn't know what that is, basically you have a website that ranks high on Google, so in a specific trade potentially. So let's just say like concreters or concrete contractors, stuff like that. So you rank your website high for those search terms. And so when a homeowner is looking for a new driveway or whatever that is, they see that website, and so they'll fill out a little form when they click on it for a free quote. It's like super easy, and then you got a lead, and then you can sign up these actual concrete companies in those local areas, and then you can sell the leads to them, and you own the website. So if they don't want to keep working with you, you can, oh cool, well I'm going to go work with another concrete guy. So,
Nice.
So my mentor does that. He's making a killing. A lot of it is passive for him, so he's not really in the trenches anymore. He's got it set up pretty nice.
Yeah, so he's done the hard work like you have, what you're doing currently, and sort of using the knowledge that he's built up to sort of make himself financially free and location independent. He lives out here in Southeast Asia as well.
Yep.
And yeah, just enjoying the lifestyle and putting yourself around the right people and building a great network. So that brings me to another topic, is investing in the self. So people who have, business portfolios, and they'll have like crypto or all these sorts of investments, and they might be interested in all this stuff. But I believe, and I think you'll agree as well, is that in the beginning, the best investment is investment in yourself. So getting a mentor and speaking to people who are just a few steps ahead of you, who've got a bit more know-how on a certain topic, that can just make you jump so quick that the increase in skills and stuff. What's the sort of biggest thing that you've learned? Any secret sauce that you can give that you've learned? One thing that's sort of taken you from just before to now. Sort of what's one thing that's really changed it that you've been told, like from?
Yeah. So relating to like investing in yourself, I've actually spent a lot of money on coaches and mentors, and I don't regret it, but at the same time it's like, well, I was kind of already there on a lot of things, and I already knew a lot of stuff, so it's like maybe I didn't get the value I thought I would get. But that was an experience now I know, and I'll be more careful on. I'm not trying to throw shade at anyone. Actually, I'll just say this. I had a PT, very expensive personal trainer, and I was, like, my physique is okay, like it's decent, like, but.
You're not out of shape, let's say that.
I'm not out of shape, but it just kind of felt like he didn't really care. And I learned some things, but for the cost, yeah.
It's managing expectation versus result.
Yeah.
But I think on like the business side of things, if you've got a skill and you're not sure of it, or I think if I backtrack a little bit, I think a lot of us know what we need to do. I think a lot of us already know what sort of things we have to do to progress. Is why I've not had like a one-to-one mentor yet, is because I already know so much I need to be doing. Until I'm doing it consistently and frequently, there's no point in me getting it, because I'm just wasting my time and their time.
Yeah.
So let's get things dialed in first, and then start looking for help when I get to the point where I'm like, well, I don't know where to go now.
Exactly. And I like what you said, because it's like, yeah, we know what we need to do. And I think maybe one of the only things at that point is accountability. And that was kind of my big thing for a while, is being like, okay, how can I be accountable for for what I'm doing because I'm not doing those things. And I was looking to other people to keep me accountable. But one of my interests recently is how, instead of relying on other people, how can I do the inner shadow work, dig deep in myself and really find the answers as to why I'm not doing what I need to do. And so a lot of that is subconscious, and I haven't figured any of it out, but that's just an interest of mine, is like, how can I figure that out? And, find, discipline is great, obviously, but sometimes there is maybe some trauma or some like self-belief stuff that you don't realize that's under the surface. So anyways, that's been something I've been interested in recently.
Yeah, limiting beliefs, sort of challenging your innermost beliefs, the things that we've learned, the things we don't realise that we've picked up over sort of the 20, 25 years of growing up, and a bit of brainwashing from the media and the people that you grew up around. You don't realise how close you are or how similar you are to those people. And then having a different perspective from a coach can be great, but nothing's good enough. Nothing's as good as doing the work.
Yeah, just doing it.
Just getting the work in.
Agreed, yeah.
Yeah. So back to Thailand then, being immersed in, only for a short space of time, but being immersed in the culture here and the way that, the streets are and sort of the attitude of the people, like the very forgiving and all that sort of stuff. What's one thing that you've taken from just your short time being here that you're sort of going to implement into your lifestyle or your business? Is there anything you've picked up?
That's a good question. Man, it's been a roller coaster. I'm still like processing all of it, honestly. I think just being out here, I've realized like, okay, I do need to sit down, chill out for a little while, like you, and just, kind of commit to something. And I'm saying commit to something longer term. It's not even that long term, but it's longer than
just locking in for a little bit.
A little bit. I've just more so realized like, okay, this is where I need to go. This is how I'm going to do it. These are the people I need to be around.
Awesome.
But other than that, I don't know if I have another answer for that question yet.
Yeah.
But
it takes time. I mean, my sort of, the way I'm thinking about it at the minute is, I'm still so fresh into it. 2-3 weeks, it's a short amount of time. It's not a lot of time to sort of, you might come on holiday for 2 weeks and think, wow, I can't wait to get home. But I feel like I've either been here for a long time or I've only been here for a very short time, nothing in between. Sort of some days you wake up and you're like, well, am I still in my hometown, or what am I doing here? And you have to sort of think as well, sort of what your why is. You have to remind yourself of what you're doing out here as well. Because I think it can get quite, if you're not careful, it can get quite distracting, and it can also sort of, it can fool you to what your actual beliefs are. You can start to, especially if you're not putting yourself around the right people, you start to pick up on that as well, and they might just be sort of here for the fun times. But I think it's good to do a balance of things. But what you're going to do now, sort of going to sort of get centered for at least 30 days, is just
I like what you said, because living this lifestyle is so sexy. Like people see it and they're like, how do I get that? And I think in this, I don't want to say industry, but like in this space on Instagram or social media or influencers, where people at home are told like, okay, change your life, like come out here, everything's going to change. I think the part they leave out is it does need to be intentional still, because it is really, you might have distractions at home, but this is another ballgame of other distractions. So it's just, you need to surround yourself with the right people and just be intentional about it.
Yeah, and like you said, saying no to things when they're not actually going to benefit the mission.
Exactly.
I mean, it's all well and good to sort of get out there and sort of meet new people, but there's, good ways of doing it. I've sort of put myself in a few situations, good ones, like going out to run club instead of going like out drinking,
Yep.
or you know,
Meeting the guys for a workout.
yeah, meeting for a workout instead of going for drinks again. Like it all sort of centres around sort of alcohol and late nights, which is the opposite of what I enjoy. I've always sort of not really enjoyed alcohol, and I've always been about like 8-9 o'clock. I'm ready to go to bed.
Yeah.
Like, but for a lot of the other guys that I've spoken to, it's like it's a bit of a battle because they actually do enjoy that sort of stuff. And but if you do, it's all a balance, isn't it? And I'm not completely perfect in my own right, but I think we all face our own different challenges. But like what you're going to do now is you sort of like cutting away the distractions so you don't have the option to be distracted. I think that's important as well. Design your environment so that where you are is sort of conducive to success. Or I think now for me it's a good test. It's a good test of my discipline to make sure that I am actually who I say I am, and confirm my beliefs as, you know, if I can stay disciplined here, I can do it anywhere, man.
Right.
So
Yeah. No, that's a good point.
It's a good skill building. So, just thinking.
Yeah, you can always like cut out.
Yeah, I mean, I like to keep it rolling. Just
Natural.
I've written a few questions just so you know. If you're watching this far, you're already interested. So the way I like to do these interviews is I'll have a few questions in mind. I'll do a little bit of research on yourself and your sort of where you're from and what you do now. And then I also like to write a few wild card questions, sort of. So here's
Spicy
one.
questions.
Put you on the spot a little bit, maybe not. But what is one thing you're proud of that not a lot of people notice?
About myself.
Yeah,
One thing I'm proud of that people don't notice.
needs a bit more recognition. One thing that you're really good at.
More recognition.
Yeah.
That's a good question. You know, I'm very. One thing I always find it hard to like talk about the good things of myself. I can be arrogant sometimes, but
Well, I think a little bit of arrogance is important to sort of believe in yourself,
yeah,
but not too much to outweigh you.
that's true.
But
No, that's true. I think sometimes I can have. This is me. This is the first thing coming to my mind, but there's probably a way better answer I can give. I feel like I do have that strong, sturdy, like confident,
you're unfazed. Yes.
unfazed
cool.
side of me. But I feel like I don't know what I've been trying to figure this out, and I don't know what my like authentic self is, and and it could be more of like more humorous, like more personality side of me, but I feel like when I do open up, a lot of the time it's like I have to be careful, especially with girls, you know, because it's fun to be authentic, but you got to do it in a way where you're not, where they know everything about you, and they can read you and see
A little
you.
bit of a mystery.
Yeah, exactly. And so
Yeah.
sometimes, or just with guys, other bros, sometimes I can get a little too energetic, or like not all the time, but
But your strong point is just being able to gel in any situation and just
just
you're not
feel the
afraid to
energy.
be who you want to be, and it's to the point where you have to tone it back a little bit.
Yeah,
That's not a bad thing. A lot of people are striving to be more confident and sort of pay people a lot of money to, I need to be a bit more confident, or
go door to door.
They're not good with girls.
Go door to door.
If you're struggling, go door to door.
If you're a tall white guy, go to Thailand. you'll get attention.
No matter who you are.
Yeah,
come to-
it's unreal.
yeah, it's crazy, but
Good question.
Your skills, confidence. I put you on a little spot a little bit there, but I
Yeah.
think it's good to dig deep.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I like to do that with people too.
No, it's cool. So another one, if you could have dinner or like a meeting with anyone, dead or alive, politician, superstar, musician, who would it be and why? Someone that
Another great
inspired you.
question.
A physicist.
Yeah.
Uh,
You want to have dinner later? That's a good question. You know, I'm not one to really have a lot of inspirations, but I do see value in like the old poets and like Marcus. I don't know if
Marcus
you-
Aurelius.
Yeah, can you even call him a poet? I mean,
He's like a philosopher, isn't
philosopher.
he? The interesting thing about Marcus Aurelius, and I might butcher this for someone who's a bit of a buff, but he wrote all of his work in a diary, never to be published.
I heard that. Yeah, I think you said that actually.
Possibly.
Yeah.
So his works were never intended to be published. So they were all just for himself. Is the way he was thinking. Very sort of groundbreaking stuff at the time, but it was only after his death that they were sort of posted out there and gone through and published. So yeah, I mean, like great minds like that, if we could communicate with them today and sort of tell them the struggles that we go through, they'd be probably pretty shocked. But I think what does persist is the way that people react to situations. I think that would be quite similar to his day, the human nature, the sort of the anger, the hatred, or the compassion, all those sorts of emotions. I think they'd be pretty similar. It'd just be the circumstances in which they'd be experienced.
Yeah.
And to different grades now. So like nowadays we have hot running water and access to food at all times. We basically live like emperors of his day.
That's true.
So everyone has these, well, everyone is a very broad term, but a majority of people live higher than these kings and princes and emperors of days gone by. And I think he'd be pretty shocked at how sort of the things that we worry about.
We take it for granted.
Yeah, that we take everything for granted. Yeah, that, you know.
I don't want to cut you off if you have more to say there.
Keep going.
Okay. After thinking about like if there was one person, because Marcus Aurelius, like that'd be cool with like a Stoic, right? But one guy I actually really look up to a lot, and I used to listen to his podcasts all the time. He's a really good figure for guys in general. Bedros Keuilian.
I'm not familiar with him.
Not familiar. So he's from, he's not from the States. He's in the States. He's in California. He's from, I think somewhere in Russia, but he basically had a crazy upbringing, you know, was robbing, stealing. I don't know if he was in jail for a while, but he has wild stories, and he is multimillionaire business owner now. He's a man. He's got that juicy beard. I don't remember what his groups are called, but he'll take other men through a boot camp. Maybe you've heard of this boot camp, but without realizing it was him. But he'll take guys through like a boot camp for a week and, you know, turn men into men, like, you know.
Yeah. A bit like a rite of passage sort of thing.
Yeah.
Transformation process.
Yeah, exactly.
Beating people down, bringing them back up, sort of a bit like the army does,
Yeah.
the military, putting people in bad situations so they find out who they are, that sort of stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And a lot of the guys that go through he does mentoring. He does groups for like guys without fathers. He's honestly a good father figure even for me. Like, yeah, a lot of the guys that go through his boot camps don't make it, you know. But
Wow.
yeah,
It's tough, that.
yeah,
Really tough.
yeah. He. I'll leave it there actually.
But he's someone you'd like to just sit down and just
Yeah.
have a chat with and sort of pick his brain.
100%. 100%.
Interesting. Yeah, you find that these people that have had like extreme upbringings or even just small but impactful events on their lives, they, you know, either age mentally quite quickly or they have then the ability to teach others about a certain subject. So, you know, like someone that came to mind, I don't watch a lot of fighting, but Francis Ngannou is He's a MMA fighter,
Okay.
and he sort of came from absolutely nothing,
Mm-hmm.
like searching through trash heaps on a landfill, and like picking stuff out to make money, and sort of digging holes, or some crazy story.
Yeah.
And the mental fortitude and the sort of determination built, and then the discipline of becoming a great fighter, and sort of all those experiences together made him like a world-class fighter. And these things to come together, like there's a few guys in the end sort of our space that have like had these crazy lifestyles, but use them to teach people who haven't been through a lot or need a bit of a kick up the ass to sort of, you know, realise that their priorities and the stuff that they're worrying about really isn't important.
Yeah.
But sort of I've exhausted my questions here,
Questions.
but I'd like to carry on talking. So is there
Yeah.
anything that you wanted to ask from me, or that sort of interested you, or the things we've talked about so far that you'd like to go a bit deeper on, or anything like that?
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I don't know you. No, we don't know each other that well.
Yeah, that's not a problem.
You're from London.
Not far from London, so about 2 hours from London.
Okay.
So on the States scale, I'm close by, but in the UK I'm probably about halfway up the UK. So,
Gotcha.
but everywhere sort of was about 2 hour drive from me. So anywhere, you may have heard of Manchester, that's 2 hours for the north. London's 2 hours to the south, and I'm in the middle near Birmingham.
Oh, okay.
So I like to travel around the UK. When I was there, I used to like go hiking.
Yeah.
It was about 3 hour drive to Wales. The tallest mountain in Wales is called Snowdon. I used to go and hike that a bit, and places like the Peak District. So if you're watching this and you want to travel to the UK and you want to go to England, you want to see some proper countryside, don't bother going to London. Just fly into Heathrow and get a train or hire a car and go to the Peak District. And if you want to go for a bit further a drive, go to the Lake District, and there's some great scenery there. Real England, you know, countryside, proper stone cottages, nice fields, loads of sheep, green grass. They're the places to go. Don't bother with fucking Tower of London. Waste of time.
London sounds cool on paper, but
yeah, day or two, maybe on the way in and the way out.
Yeah.
Other than that,
maybe for a few minutes. just say you've been there.
Oh, there's London as you're driving out of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So you said you have a construction background?
Yeah, so I spent 5 years in the construction industry. So I left school, had a couple of months like trying to figure out where my head was at. Because obviously you leave school in the UK at about 18. It used to be 16. Then just as I was about to leave, they put it to 18. But that just meant you have to do 2 years in college rather than you just had to go to college or sixth form, which is like a little bit of high school education, a bit extra. So I left school. I messed around a little bit trying to find things that I wanted to do. I wanted to like be in engineering because I've got quite a mechanical mind. I like fucking
Me too, yeah.
that sort of stuff, like mechanics. Didn't get an apprenticeship, went for a few interviews, and then ended up stumbling across a position at a construction company that was referred from a friend. He was just scrolling through Facebook. I never had it at the time, Facebook, and he said, "Oh, there's a friend of a friend. Her husband has a business, looking to take some people on." I went for an interview, no. Went for another interview, no. And then I called up again, and one of the guys that was there before me had left only a couple of days before, and they were looking for someone. It was just a happen of persistence and time. So I was quite persistent with that. I got a job there. I was in that business for 3 years, working as like a labourer. And then started progressing and sort of running my own jobs, you know, small couple of day projects. We'd go and take a van, loads of tools and some paint and some equipment and refurbish floors and do that in like anywhere. So warehouses, food factories, all this sort of stuff. So we'd basically take an old knackered place that's run down and do it up. But most of the time it was for like health and safety purposes. So the old floor had become unsanitary, or it was dangerous, causing trips and stuff. So I spent a couple of years doing that. I really enjoyed it because it was a way to sort of express myself through like a medium, so I could do a good job and say, look, I did this, or be proud of it. And I'd post those jobs on LinkedIn. If you want to go on my LinkedIn, you can still see them. My painting projects and some of the lane stuff I was involved with.
Casual plugs.
Yeah, so I was quite interested in that. I enjoyed that whilst I was there. But the thing that sort of drew me away from that industry is it was quite hard work on the body.
Yep.
And I found as well that through that lifestyle and being surrounded in that sort of that stage of my life as well is because I started to form quite bad habits. So then I had a friend in school, we were still good friends at the time. He said, "Why don't you come work with me?" He works for a company where his dad got him the job, a road construction company. And basically there, he sort of got me the first interview, and then I had to prove myself. And then I just started working as a sort of back at square one, sort of working my way up and sort of learning new skills. So we were working with large machinery, taking up roads or runways or racetracks, basically resurfacing, making the road look better again. Again, another surface, another preparation, another sort of construction renovation. And then after a few months of working there on the tools, a position came open in the office, and I decided to take it because at the time I sort of realised that my communication needed to improve, my organisation needed to improve, and all in all I wanted to be more like the people that was in the office than the people that I was working with.
Yeah.
It's just a 1 + 1, and that's why I took it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I worked in the office for 2 years. The first 6 months were absolute hell. I didn't realise it, but they were like living hell for me. But I was enjoying it at the same time. The reason why it was hell, I use that word, but it was just intense.
Intense.
Yeah.
Kind
Lots
of
of
on like a fast steaming train.
yeah, sort of. You have to learn. There's no option but to learn. You know, I
Fire.
got asked a few times, "Are you enjoying this? Do you want to carry on?" I said, "Yes. Let's just persevere and just keep doing it." So, so the first 6 months to a year were pretty intense, and then as you start to sort of pick up your skills, you sort of predict problems to see them in the future. That's sort of where it got a little bit easier, and I could start to take the foot off and enjoy it a bit more. Yeah, and then the last sort of year, I've just progressed and sort of started to optimise what I was doing. So once I got my head around the job, I started to like improve things in my touching distance to make my life easier and to improve the efficiency. So that's sort of my business background. And then in October, I went to a mastermind in Dubai with a guy that we're both mutually connected with, and yeah, spent a week there and came back and thought, this is great, but it's not what I want to be doing for the rest of my life, and I need to sort of get out there in the world and see places. So there's a great network here in Bangkok, and I thought, look, let's get out here. So I told him, look, I've really enjoyed my time here. I've learned so much, and the reason why I can do what I'm doing now is because I have been here, and I need to get out there and see the world. So yeah, I've been here for a couple of weeks and meeting great people and having conversations like this and sort of expanding the mind to what is possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Respect for taking that leap, man.
That's my sort of 5 year.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely, one thing from you talking is like, you definitely stuck in the businesses or the construction for a while. Like you had enough fortitude to like take it for what, 3 years and then 2 years, or
yes, that sort of time. So yeah, I think the main thing is I made the most of what I had whilst I had it. So I didn't just jump ship straight away when it got difficult. I also like sat in the depths of it for a bit. I probably could have left the first company a little bit earlier, but I don't regret anything that I've done. I think sort of my progress from where I was and where I am now is, you know, light years difference. I used to be a quite shy person, believe it or not. I didn't have a lot of friends growing up. I had a good few friends, but I was quite shy. I didn't, you know, socialise with a lot of people, and yeah,
that changed.
I think so. I think so. Yeah. I mean, I'm still I'm still an introvert at heart, but I'm an introvert that has learnt to be an extrovert.
Same.
Sort of.
That's what I tell people.
It has to be you have to learn to do things that aren't normal to you, and even down to things like recording on camera and just getting comfortable with, being around different people that you've never met and just striking up conversations. But I think it really helps being here as well, because you've all got a mutual connection. You've all left your hometown for something bigger, so you can instantly get onto different stuff just because you've got that mutual connection. So I think it's important to sort of get out your comfort zone, but also just absorb all the time. What I was doing whilst I was doing construction is I was just absorbing all the time, gaining information from my environment, and trying to do a good job at the same time, and just really giving my all, and probably sometimes neglecting my own priorities. But it taught me a lot more than it didn't, if you know what I mean. So that's the story of me so far since I was a sort of an adult. I think I've only really started to grow up the last 2 or 3 years. The first couple I was still quite immature, and I was working and I was putting a lot of time into my job, but I was still messing around doing silly stuff, and everyone has to go through that stage. The sort of, the just not really focused, but sooner rather than later, everyone comes to realise that
you feel the uncomfort from being comfortable.
So that's sort of what it was when I came back from Dubai. I was very comfortable. Not very comfortable. I'd become comfortable because it had stopped being that torturous intensity. And then I got to the point where it's like, well, I could have a great life here. The people around me that are good people, but the longer I leave it, the harder it is going to be to break the sort of ties and go and do something different. I'd be sort of tempted by the sweetness of just being comfortable and having a great life, but I want a sort of different style of life. I want the freedom to be flexible and sort of be in control of my own destiny. And the main thing as well is I feel like the benefit that I can have on society and sort of the people in sort of my age group and younger, anyone who's watching, is that I want to inspire people. I want to sort of make people realise how I've been shown that you can do more with your life than you think you can. And a lot of stuff is more achievable than you think it is. It might seem like a massive jump to move to the other side of the world, but all you need is 10 or 15 grand in savings and a bit of determination, and the rest will just fall into place. And another thing that will benefit that is a good network. So those three things is having a bit of financial stability, is having some good skills as a person, pushing yourself to be better, and then also having good people around you too. And I don't think a lot can go wrong if you over a long enough period of time. Things will go up and down, and things won't be smooth riding. But
worst case scenario, you come out here, you blow through your money, you have to go home. What'd you learn? How did it make you feel? What'd you experience?
Definitely, you got to put yourself out there to win. You got to be in it to win it. I think that's a good point to end the conversation on. I've enjoyed having a chat with you, Hayden.
It was nice talking to you, man.
Awesome. So if you enjoyed the episode and you want to see a little bit more, drop a subscribe and a like and a comment and all that jazz. And if you want to find you on Instagram, what's your handle?
H period white, just like the color, and then 83.
Nice. Hit up in on Instagram, give them a follow.
Thank you.
And I'm sure we'll be doing some more collaborations in the future. And awesome. Good luck with your adventures, and see you all soon.
Yeah.